The unprecedented solo monohull speeds continue to be sustained by the leading 5 boats on the Vendee globe as they head towards the longitude of the Cape of Good Hope. Les Dalin Sébastien Simon, Groupe du Boris, has shown speeds more worthy of his airline sponsor than a solo round the world yacht race, pushing the 24-hour solo monohull record higher and higher on successive skeds today, reaching a new best-ever mark of 614.25 nautical miles over the 24 hours to 13:30 hours UTC today. After a frenetic night, Simon, sailing the Vendee-designed boat which won the ocean race's 11th hour, had raised the bar to 596.23 miles at 08:30 hours this morning, and then, in the perfect conditions, he kept upping the ante. And there is every chance the record might keep going up on this low pressure, which is proving to be the gift that keeps on giving for the elite leading pack. 6 boats have now gone over 560 nautical miles in the last 24 hours: MACIF, Saint-Prevoyance, Wholesome, PRB, Vulnerable, and Charles, the latter next fastest, peaking so far at 615.33 miles. It is almost sure now that the leaders will make it all the way from their entry point onto the low, just north of Rio, to the Cape of Good Hope on one single, super-fast jibe. Simon reported this morning, "The boat is doing really well, there's only 1 meter of sea, a reasonable wind between 24 and 26 knots of wind. I have 2 reefs in the mainsail, under FRO, in a relatively safe configuration for the boat. It's an incredible distance, I would never have imagined doing that. In my opinion, it's not over because the scenario is improving for us. And since I'm staying in the front group, I'm on this depression all the way to Bourne Esperance instead of dropping off it this evening, so I'm going to continue to go at this speed for almost another full day, so there's a chance that the record will be beaten again, I hope by me." And how right his prediction proved to be. When you have the boat set up right like that, she just rips. She loves these conditions, max power, max writing moment, she is a rocket ship, remarked Jack Boutel, who was on the winning 11th hour racing team. It is just amazing to think the old record fully crewed was 618 miles on a 100-footer, and Seb is doing it on his own. It is great to see the old girl being put through her paces and going so well after all the blood, sweat and tears we put into that boat. But when these boats get beyond 22 to 23 knots, it feels like the world is going to end at any minute. There are all kinds of noises coming from the rig and noises from the foils, alarms are going off. The big question, one which Johan Richem, Paprec ARK, seemed to pose rhetorically 1 week ago, when he set the new mark at 551 miles, is whether the crude 640 nautical miles record on an IMOCA can be surpassed during this amazing speed session. Bossele Rockhut, weather consultant for the race, highlighted this morning, this group of the first 6 will stay in a very powerful flow of 30 knots until tomorrow morning. They will therefore be able to continue to push hard. The idea is not to go and break records, but rather to try to maintain a correct average. In short, it's about trying to have a good rhythm, but to hold on to your distance, cautioned Jeremy Bayou, Charles, who injured his knee in the Selly trades. "I just have to not fall on it again. We are still on the TGV, French Express Railway, and it's great. However, the scenery is changing a little. The depression is getting closer. The sky is overcast and the water temperature is dropping quite sharply," noted Bayou, who bundled up, adding a few layers of clothing last night. Bayou, like leader Charlie Dalin, MACIF Saint-Prevoyance, second-placed Thomas Ruyant, Vulnerable, Simon, Richem, and Nicholas Lundven, Wholesome, PRB, have achieved the holy grail of staying on the same depression since its passage off the coast of Brazil. But 2 options are coming up: take a direct route in a narrow wind corridor to then also deal with the Agulhas current, or dive south to skirt the Arctic exclusion zone, AEZ, which seems a bit simpler on paper. For the moment, I am trying to stay on this port jibe as long as possible. It is the wind that will decide a bit what we are going to do. Everything is subject to what happens with this front. We mustn't get too carried away with a strategy too far in advance, said Jeremy Bayou, who, like the others, will cross the Greenwich Meridian this evening. his longitude moving through zero to become east tonight, a nice little mental milestone. For those left behind, there is the realization that the gap to this lead group is growing exponentially. Germany's Boris Herrmann, Malaysia Sea Explorer, in 11th at 492 miles behind Dalin, reflected this morning, "We are trailing along here with this front and we seem to be pretty much on the edge of it, but therefore the conditions are unstable a bit and between 13 and 20 knots of wind, average about 15 knots, not easy to be fast all the time. We do what we can. We had a good night, no sail changes, and all is well on board. The distance with the leaders will change dramatically, they will gain a lot. Also I had AIS contact with Clarice, which was nice to have a direct companion. I heard her speaking on the VHF, but I could not see her. I am alone again. It is still sunny and really quite nice conditions. The breeze went up to 27 knots for a while and so I put in a reef, but took it out again soon as it was only a short moment. The sea is a little bit short and stubby, not so much to report. The front pack? Amazing, big respect, it's an amazing run, they are in a lucky spot now thanks to their own efforts and it is really great to see. I am a bit jealous obviously, but the race is still long. Let's see what happens. I expect the distance to them to nearly double to 600 or 700 miles to the pack. So I hope I get opportunities in the Indian or Pacific Oceans to reduce that distance again, otherwise the race would be decided here. But I don't think it is the end of the day yet. And the challenge of Swiss skipper Justine Metros, who is close to Herrmann, is now slightly compromised after her J0 headsail was terminally damaged today, tearing in an incident unrelated to the repairs carried out yesterday. Metros was able to bring the sail, halyard and sheets back on board without any additional damage to the structure or the appendages of her boat. Teamwork Team SNEF.
Hello everyone, 27th November 2024, Wednesday. It's dark night in Northern Europe. It's raining in Hamburg, raining a lot. It's raining a lot in Lorient. I saw that from calls earlier with friends and family. Out here, we don't have the sunny weather of yesterday. You see I'm wearing a jumper and we have gray sky. The grayshness was laying a little bit on my mood today. Not much, but a bit, I have to admit. Maybe that's also because the outlook that I told you about is still looking like that, so that we will lose the wind soon. Already now I feel it. And it's kind of fading out of this excitement of a fast train going to the southeast and kind of falling off the back of the train and then sink off the foil. We will be in a funny little displacement mode for quite a while, but it's not yet. We're still going sometimes at above 20 knots, but I see only 15 knots average wind speed now, and speeds will be decreasing into the night. That's at least what I see on the model. Obviously the guys in the front, they will continue doing their records. Huge respect, by the way. We saw Sébastien Simon doing a 600-mile record. That's incredible. So they must have pretty good sea state as well. Otherwise, I don't see how this could be possible. So the race is one thing always for the mind. The outlook is probably a few hundred more miles to be lost on the leadership pack, but there are races within the race. We passed Justine and Clarice yesterday. Only 48 hours ago we were next door with Benjamin Dutrot and are now I think almost 200 miles ahead of him. So great gains in the middle of the fleet here. The next one on the list is Sam Davies. Someone in particular I like to sail along. We did that in the Transat CIC for a couple of days and with great success, both for us in the race. I would love to catch up enough to see her on AIS, because since a lovely day yesterday with the sunshine and having Clarisse on AIS, I don't see anyone today, and I lack companion and a bit of stimulus here. Nevertheless, of course, I don't get lazy. I look out every second and try to trim the sails with these unstable conditions to the best possible. By the way, trimming the sails is not only for the sake of speed, but also for preserving sails. If they flock on the top, that could be destroyed in one night or in half a night. If we go fast with the apparent wind up there being about 30 knots, that could destroy a sail in a few hours. So that's something certainly to make sure that sails don't flock. And yes, for those of you who have followed the last Vendee Globe, you will recognize this good old aviation headset, because I could bite myself. Everyone is now using this very sleek little DJI remote microphones. I had those, of course, as well, but on day 7 or so, during the Monaco National Day, I was trying to record a greeting video for Monaco and going on the windward side, because I thought there's not so much wind, but I got a massive splash. And despite rinsing that microphone off with sweet water and drying it for 3 days in a rice bag, it didn't come back to life. And therefore, I either do the sound like in the last couple of days directly from the phone, the earpods, or now we have this back to this option. Which maybe in the comments we see from you what you prefer in terms of sound. I imagine that's also a topic for other competitors. How can we provide you stuff that it's enjoyable to watch and not stressful, noisy sound. I guess it's a bit less immersive. You don't hear the noise of the boat like this, but we can alternate, and we will see what you say in the comments. So that's it for today. Good work so far. I did another check. Still nothing to declare on the boat. All good. Good spirits still. Not euphoric today, like probably was yesterday a bit. But that's fine. You know, we're living here 3 months on this tiny island, on this tiny boat, and life has its little up and downs and moods, and I can't complain at all. I had a really nice lunch. I have my daily lunch pack in one bag, everything that's foreseen that I should eat that day, and you have lucky days, and I really like lentils. I had a nice lentil dish for lunch today, so a little bit of Haribo. So the little pleasures, and so another thing that cheered me up today, this morning, was a call with German school kids. And I was told it was between 1,000 and 1,500 kids in the call. Most of them were actually in one school in the west of Hamburg. Great thank you to all of those who have organized that. It was very professionally organized with camera and transmission, and a conference where many other schools from northern Germany were also attending, and lots of great questions asked by the kids. So that was the highlight of my day. And later today, soon actually, we're going to speak to the members of the Yacht Club Monaco and people in Monaco. Looking forward to that. Monaco is one of my 3 homes, and a place that I love to spend time, and great friends there. So I'm looking forward to catch up, and then more news from us tomorrow. Have a good evening, everyone, and thanks for following. Cheers, bye.
Salut les amis, mercredi matin, c'est t-shirt neuf pas propre. C'est quand même mon 3e t-shirt depuis le départ. Hein. Je force pas la conso. Moi. C'est ça qui est pas très agréable dans ces conditions chaudes là, c'est que on colle, on pue. c'est comme ça, hein. Je peux pas non plus emmener des changes pour tous les jours. J'aurais pu faire la lessive, mais c'est vrai que moi je fais pas. Je crois qu'il y en a qui font. À quoi d'autre? La nuit c'est plutôt bien passé, moins pire que ce que je croyais. Il y avait des zones sans vent sur le fichier, mais j'ai réussi un peu à passer quand même. Puis là, ce matin, là, j'ai 19 nœuds de vent, bon cap, donc là je glisse bien. Non, c'est pas mal. Bon, évidemment, je suis pas à 25 nœuds comme les mecs de devant déjà, parce que le soleil qui gêne. Ah, il y a du soleil, hein. Ah, le soleil, il fait chaud sur la véranda. Déjà parce que je fais pas la même vitesse que d'origine. Et ensuite parce que j'ai pas le même vent. Vous avez bien compris, hein, ça fait une semaine que c'est comme ça. Plus on est devant, plus on va vite. C'est comme dans la vie, plus on est riche, plus on est riche. Voilà, j'essaie de vous montrer. Il y a un petit peu de bruit. C'est vrai que ça fait un peu film angoisse. Quelqu'un m'a fait remarquer ça hier. Nous on est là. Les premiers, ils sont là où c'est bien rouge, où il y a bien du vent. On est un peu derrière, puis il commence à avoir moins de vent. Mais bon, pour l'instant, on reste encore accroché à la dépression, mais il y a un moment, elle va partir. Et puis à un moment, il y aura plus de vent et il faudra bien récupérer le vent qui reviendra par derrière. Donc bon, franchement, pour l'instant, c'est pas pire. À part que si, devant, ils sont très loin et derrière, ils sont très loin. Moi, j'ai quand même mon petit paquet juste derrière, là, de Pipe, Dalin et Louis. Je vous montre pas dehors, parce que vu que je suis propre, j'ai pas envie de me saler. Et là, vu ce qui passe sur le pont, si je sors dehors, je vais prendre une rasade. Donc vous m'excuserez, je vous fais un petit tour véranda. Hein. Allez, Kenavo les amis, et puis bon mercredi à tous les enfants, pas école cet après-midi, tranquille.
On l'appelle l'Everest des mers. Ce n'est pas une ascension, mais une odyssée en mer épique en solitaire de plus de 80 jours. Moi, c'est Fatch, et aujourd'hui, je suis avec la MACIF et je vous emmène au Sable d'Olonne pour vous parler de la course à la voile, la plus dangereuse, mais aussi la plus mythique au monde, le Vendée Globe. Un tour du monde en solitaire, sans escale et sans assistance, où les marins affrontent les océans les plus hostiles de la planète. 45 000 km de navigation et un seul objectif, terminer la course et franchir la ligne le premier, et surtout en un seul morceau. En 2009, 63% des participants ont dû abandonner après avoir traversé les 3 grands caps. Bonne Espérance, le Win et le périlleux Cap Horn. Une odyssée durant laquelle les skippers doivent résister aux vagues géantes, aux tempêtes, aux températures extrêmes, mais surtout à une solitude de plus de 2 mois. Un défi fou qui demande non seulement des compétences de navigation hors pair, mais aussi une détermination et une force mentale à toute épreuve. Depuis 1989, tous les 4 ans, les meilleurs navigateurs de la planète se rassemblent donc au Sable d'Olonne, en Vendée, pour prendre le départ de cette course hors du commun. Ils étaient 13 à avoir relevé le défi lors de la première édition, et seuls 7 d'entre eux auront au final rallié la ligne d'arrivée. À cette époque, les bateaux étaient moins sophistiqués, les conditions de survie précaires, et les systèmes de communication rudimentaires. Mais depuis, le Vendée Globe a grandi, puis est devenu petit à petit la référence ultime de la voile en solitaire. Lors de la dernière édition, c'est Dalin, le skipper MACIF, qui a passé la ligne d'arrivée en premier. Et pourtant, ce n'est pas lui qui a remporté la course. Je t'explique, nous sommes dans la nuit du 27 janvier 2021. Après un ultramarathon de 80 jours, 4 bateaux se jouent la victoire au sprint. Charlie va alors franchir la ligne d'arrivée en premier, mais tout en sachant qu'il ne sera probablement pas le vainqueur officiel du Vendée Globe. En fait, 2 mois plus tôt, un autre skipper, Yannick Bestaven, avait aidé au sauvetage de Kevin Escoffier, dont le bateau s'était coupé en 2 dans une déferlante. Et pour ça, l'organisation lui a attribué une bonification de temps de 10 heures et 15 minutes. Au final, après une course parfaite, Dalin passe la ligne d'arrivée en tête. Mais c'est donc Yannick Bestaven qui l'emporte, devenant ainsi le 9e vainqueur du Vendée Globe. Charlie aura bravé les tempêtes, passé plus de 8 heures par jour à étudier les fichiers météo pour préparer ses stratégies, pour au final terminer l'épreuve en 80 jours, 6 heures et 15 minutes, signant 2 nouveaux records sur des segments de course. Il aura été en tête sur 48% des classements intermédiaires, mais n'aura donc pas réussi à arracher la victoire. Alors cette année, il revient, encore aux côtés de la MACIF, pour cette fois-ci s'emparer du trophée.